Hello people, my name is Rage, and welcome and all as we find out whether Hand of Fate is worth your time. The short answer is yes. The long answer, the rest of this video. This game is a wonderfully delicate hybrid mix of a lot of things. You have collectible card game, you have a little pinch of Dungeons and Dragons kind of roleplay, and then just to top things off, a dash of action-based combat, and then served with a nice helping of creepy, wonderful characters, and it comes out surprisingly awesome. So as you can see, we have our card master dude here doing some quite impressive tricks. Nothing that I personally couldn't do, of course, but still certainly nice. And
my weakest opponents seem to be getting the better of you. Try harder. I do like a challenge.
Okay, thanks, man. I appreciate being told to try harder as soon as I start playing. That's wonderful, and that really sets the tone for this game, because what you're seeing here is basically what you see most of the time. It builds this awesome atmosphere, like you have kind of walked into a weird, mysterious tent at a carnival that no one else has seemed to have noticed, and there's this shadowy dude who invites you to play an innocent game of cards, and you find out it starts going Jumanji on your ass with real consequences. I've always wanted to use the expression Jumanji on your ass, and now I finally managed to do it. So, you choose the leg of the story mode you want to do by selecting the boss you're going to try and take down from this case. This will all make more sense as we go along, so we are going to attempt the Jack of Skulls.
Once more you meet the Jack of Skulls.
Now, I'm not going to go on the deck builder yet, because until you've seen how everything plays out, it will make literally no sense to you. So we're simply going to begin and watch some ridiculously cool card tricks. So, I have my two decks. I have
what
my...
brings you to play the game? I know you will not tell me. Like all the rest, you are silent.
Yes, indeed. He is really awesome. So, I have an encounter deck and a weapons deck at the bottom right that I get to draw from. Him, as the mysterious, evil manipulator dealer man who likes a good game, adds his own cards to spice things up that may be bad or may be good. So the main way this is played is like an adventure based on the cards, and it's kind of difficult to explain because this is really quite unique and very fun. So I move on and...
It lives in every game. That initial moment where things begin. I have worked on these cards all my days, and the canyon has been there from the outset.
So I have gone forward on the card, and I have completely randomly found the Twisted Canyon, and obviously you get wonderfully cool voice lines from him. He would make or break this game. If he was annoying and lame, you would not want to play this, but as it is, everything he says is really cool with just the right amount of mysterious, a little bit of sarcasm, a little bit of black humor, a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of just, you are going to die, and you really find yourself getting very fond of Mr. Mysterious Cardman. So what happens when we found the Twisted Canyon? You see a weapon glinting in the sunlight, lying next to a skeleton at the bottom of the canyon. The walls of the canyon are covered in thick vines, perfect for climbing. Do we climb down to retrieve the weapon, or do we leave it? This is the splash of roleplay D&D type thing that I was mentioning, and it's very nice. So we're going to try and climb down and retrieve it, and as you can see,
a choice.
We have a 25% chance of success, and we do indeed manage it, which allows us to draw a weapon card because we have obviously retrieved a weapon. So we drew a sword, which means we can now equip our sword onto our character, and you'll see why that becomes really good later on. So we continue on our adventure. All these cards that I'm stepping on and finding are from my deck that I have built, so you can build your own adventure deck to try and tailor-make the adventure that you're wanting to go on. So now I have found...
I always thought it was best to avoid the problems of others. I see you have no such concerns.
So we have found the Captain of the Guards, which is a new card that I acquired recently.
There's a token in it for you if you win.
So now he is tempting me with a reward. You hear a shout from up ahead and the sounds of battle. Racing forward, you discover a warrior surrounded by the undead. Broken bones litter the area around the man, but there are still more closing in on him, and he appears badly injured. So we have triggered two of skulls, which basically means 4 skeletal warriors we have to defeat. Stranger, he calls out as he throws his weapon to you. Here, take my mace and put an end to these monstrosities. So of course, we now gain this mace card.
It's a lump of iron on a stick. Not terribly subtle.
It has the holy trait, which is obviously conveniently perfect for slaying skeletons, and has a lot more damage than the sword that we do have equipped, so of course we are going to swap to that one. And now is where the actiony combat part of the game, the thing that really gives it its kick, the thing that really adds a lot, despite being relatively simple, you actually get to see the real effects of the cards. There's my character, you see my mace card went down on him, he actually gained the mace, you can see the equipment, I have my health, and these are the enemies. The combat itself is, honestly, it's akin to a mini-game in a lot of ways. It's nothing crazy, you're normally in small areas that look kind of fine, honestly, and it's just very satisfying. It's certainly not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's definitely not the level of a game actually designed around just being a combat game, because of course it's not, but for what there is, it's very good. You can dodge roll, you can parry, you can counter enemies, you can break their guard, and you can just have a merry old time slashing through them, and the actual bosses are kind of good as well. They have unique mechanics. What I will say for this combat part of the game is that it's kind of simplistic. You can kind of easily smash your way through it, even against later bosses. The challenge isn't really there, but that's not what it's serving to do. It is serving to give you a lovely visual representation of this kind of card game you are playing with this mysterious stranger, and that is a really neat idea, because not only does it break up the flow of the game and give you a little bit of oomph to actually see these equipment cards you've got built on your character as you slaughter some enemies that you've triggered on a card, it also gives you a bit of agency over the bad luck. So say you get a really unlucky card, you have to fight 8 enemies. Normally, if you were just playing a roleplay game, you take a load of damage, oh well, I did bad, shame. But even with that bad luck of a card, because you're in control of this combat bit, you can be like, nah, screw you, dealer man, I'm going to annihilate these guys without even taking damage. My life is mine own. And it gives that really cool balance shift in who gets to be in control, you or the dealer, and it's very satisfying. Good work putting them to rest. Keep the mace. We have enough back at Kabir, he says, slowly standing. We've been hearing reports of one day in our kingdom recently.
It has been called the game of eternity that we play. I didn't think that meant you'd take forever to make a decision, mind.
You see what I mean? He stops to look around at all the bone fragments, more of them than I suspected. Some new horror must have decided to settle in these parts and brought his minions. I must head back to the capital and report this to the Duke. What's your step, friend? There is something more powerful at work than just these
Token
skeletons.
is yours. Well done.
So now we have acquired this token, which means if we manage to complete this journey, we're going to get extra rewards for doing so. We have now found Mr. Lionel.
Here, I'll make an exception.
Whilst enjoying an evening meal at a local tavern, a strange old man takes a seat next to yours. He taps your shoulder quite painfully with his wooden staff, and you notice there appears to be a goblin poorly disguised as a human. My name is Mr. Lionel. If you give me what I need, boy, I will conjure up your heart's desire with a visiting wand of my own creation. You gotta get into the roleplay of this. It really does add to it. So I have the option of giving him 20 gold, which I don't have, so I can't give him the bread from my plate, ask him what he needs, or ignore the goblin. I'm gonna assume maybe it's a little bit racist, but I'm going to give him some bread. He considers the bread seriously before placing it carefully in his coat pocket, seemingly satisfied. So we actually lose some food. Food is an important resource because you spend it on moving and continuing, and if you run out of food, you are in dire straits. But in this case, I think it was a worthy investment, and he actually gives us
practice and good timing,
a shield.
You can reflect ranged attacks.
And as the guy said, we now have the ability to reflect ranged attacks, which is obviously lovely. This is likely to be stairs, which means we get to continue on.
If you dare.
And of course, we are going to take the stairs. We could back out now, but where is the fun in that? So
many have reached this far. Further, in fact. I do not know if you have what it takes to do better than they did.
Which is always kind of ominous when he says that, because you get the feeling there's a lot come before you, and they've all been taken like their souls by this guy. Oh, we found a shop, which kind of sucks because we have no gold. So well, actually, I'll show you the shop just to show you what's up with it, but because we have no money, we're obviously not able to buy anything. But even the shop gets represented actually in game. We get to pop out of our card, which I like because it gives me kind of Yu-Gi-Oh hologram vibes, which, you know, always sit well with me. And we can buy stuff. We have the Explorer's Helmet, the Desperate Measures Mace. We can get a Mercenary contract, or we can get Fortitude's Breath, which is a better shield. And what I do love is that all of these do affect the look of your character, which is a rarity in games like this. Normally they have, you know, a cool picture of a shield, but the shield you have is always the same standard shield model. But it's really nice to see the extra level of detail that you can see the equipment that you're buying and are finding appear on your character in battle. It really does help that for me. I hate not being able to see tangible equipment upgrades in any given game where you can get tangible equipment upgrades. In fact, the whole game is honestly really quite polished. Recently, out of early access, where they simply wanted to make it as good as possible, this game was a very good example of early access done right. Something I wanted to mention at the beginning, but you know, we kind of got waylaid by the cool card game going on. So obviously, we can't afford anything, but what we can do is sell our sword, because obviously we've got the mace, and even with the enchantment considering,
the most fundamental symbol of might for an age.
And then what we're going to do with the money... Oh, we just can't afford the food. I really wanted to buy a little bit more food because we are running kind of low on it, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to. So there is an element of resource management and strategy that does go into it. Sometimes the card layouts you get aren't just linear lines, by the way. You can go around in a square and explore where you want to go. Maze of Traps. This one is
traps and
interesting.
The hope of treasure.
See,
it's all I could ask for and more.
Whenever you get to one of these actual challenges, you can mostly choose to pass it up, but he always tempts you with this hovering token of extra card rewards at the end, and it really is always so just, oh, you are on, mysterious man, let's do this thing. And you kind of want to go for it and just show him up, because you really do feel like you're in a mind contest with this guy. That's how well characterized he is, despite being relatively simple in what he does, and I think that is absolutely wonderful. So we get some light armor, we got our shield, we have our mace, we are pretty much ready to go, we've got all of our stuff. So this one is an interesting challenge. Basically, there are no enemies. What you have to do is, get across the maze of traps, quite literally, and if you successfully do that, then you get a nice reward treasure at the end. I think it's a really, really nice challenge that there is in the game, because it breaks up the constant combat thing, which, as I said, isn't terrifically interesting. It's definitely good and definitely needed, but it's not like hardcore. Oh, did not even notice that one. That is a little bit upsetting, but we did make it to the end, and that is very good. The harder maze of traps do a very good job at killing you very quickly, and obviously if you lose all your health, you do lose, and the dealer wins. We get gold, which is really nice. We gain some health back, which is really what we needed, and we gain some more gold. So next shop is actually going to be very, very useful, and of course we've won the main prize, an extra card token, which is fantastic. You'll see what they specifically do if we manage to complete this journey. But yeah, having multiple types...
Your provisions are running low. Can you press on?
Ooh.
Win this and claim my token.
Kind of really do want to go for the token. It's a little bit greedy at this stage, but when in goddamn Rome. Oh, there is huge success and normal success on this one. That is lucky to have that chance. Yes! Ha! This is what we want. Your light armor makes the crossing easy, and you even stop to dive for some shiny stones on the riverbed that may fetch a few coins. The dealer draws you one gold card. Boom, 30 gold. So you see the real Dungeons & Dragons roleplay feel, which is really nice to have represented in this way. It really, really is. And I am a sucker for card games and collecting them. I really enjoy it, and this really tickles that fancy, especially with its blend of kind of gameplay. So now we've got the main...
Merith. I'm not surprised to find that this encounter remains vivid in your memories.
So basically, we can either ask for gold, health, or food. Given what we currently have, I am going to go for health, I would say. And we get... Come on, please get a little bit lucky here. And there's always that element of it. yeah, we actually gained 5 max health, which is very nice.
But it is only a momentary respite.
Remember, mortal, the bold heroes make for great ballads, but survivors think twice before meddling the affairs of gods and monsters. So now we reach some more stairs to continue our
Deeper
journey.
towards our foe.
So, the disadvantage here, of course, and here we see optional cards.
Find and kill the Jack of Skulls, and we can progress.
So the disadvantage now
The greater the risk of starvation.
is we're out of food. So we now start taking health damage a step, which is obviously terrible. Yep, thanks man, I understand how to do it. So, I can actually get some more armor, as well as throwing knives, which is kind of nice, but obviously I have to address the main concern. I simply require some food. This is technically better value, so I am going to buy 2 of these. 7 food should do us for the rest of the journey. So then the real question is, let's go for some medium armor. You know, let's actually buy it.
What do you expect?
We'll equip it. We're going to do an explorer's helmet, because what this guy... Shut up, mystery man! I am explaining the things! We're going to do that because the explorer's helmet gives you a chance to obviously gain some info into places you're about to be, and I don't have the gold for Damocles, which kind of sucks because it's very useful, but I would rather have what I did manage to get there. So that shop was very important for us. Technically we could have sold what we had before, but it would not have been enough money. So it's whether I want to be greedy or explore, or just find more of the way, which I am at the moment going
Greed. If it were not for greed, then who would play at this game?
So this one we don't get an option to do, but we still get a reward if we succeed on it. The 3 of Dust and the 2 of Skulls. Oh yeah, obviously you get to see what monsters you will be facing. Let's take them by surprise. I think we can manage that, and boom. Oh, that's not good. That is not good. The creature's ready for themselves for combat. So now we don't get a bonus going in, such as a free kill on one of them. We actually have to do this the hard way, but this is a great example of what I was saying. Despite me getting unlucky here, and normally in any other card game I'd just get screwed over and have to accept it, I at least now get the chance to just combat them and make my bad luck not matter, because I'm just going to outplay them all, which is a really good thing. When enemies get the green above their head, it means you can counter them if you time it correctly, which lets you basically get a free hit in, which is obviously very useful. But as you can see, the combat is a little bit, almost, it's kind of weird to describe it like this, but sticky in the way it flows. It's not as responsive as you would expect from action combat, but again, it's not a game based around that, so it's very easy to forgive it because it's good enough, which normally shouldn't be a compliment for a game, that it's good enough, I guess, but in this, it kind of, that's what matters. That really sucks. I need to make sure I retain enough health to actually defeat the boss at the end of this, because it does tend to be a little bit interesting. If we do that, counter him, we should be able to take him out, counter him, and there we go. Enemies with shields tend to be kind of annoying, because they obviously block and rebound you, but we did that quite handily without losing too much health, so I'd say that was definitely still worth it. I am very greedy when I play this. We get to draw 1 equipment, which is lovely. We just get a basic sword. That is kind of lame. We gain supplies, which is great.
For you, this will suffice.
Oh, perfect, the health potion. So that worked out really quite well. So the question is, let's go right to the end. And here we have the Jack of Skulls.
The undead. Of all the players in the game, these are the most dangerous in the world, yet in no natural form. A wrongness, an error, cheating.
So, we get 2 rewards for defeating the final boss, and it really isn't all of nothing. There is also a 4 of Skulls here, which means he's going to have 4 skeletal minions, which is kind of worrying. And you also get a cool Borderlands-y introduction to the bosses when you do get to them, which is always appreciated.
Shots
now,
from rifles cannot be deflected. You would do better to avoid them.
Now the real question is, can I get through his annoying, lame minions before I have to fight him? Because not 1v1ing the boss is a absolute terrible idea, because you can get ganged up on pretty quick. But obviously the main deal here is to take out the rifleman as quickly as possible. Obviously the disadvantage is Skeleton King, if he's not in the current state of beating your face in, he kind of just likes to revive his friends, and you can't really stop him all that well. And when a red squiggly triple line goes across a boss, you cannot counter the attack. So you can't just freely counter bosses to death, which kind of does suck. Now, fortunately, the general enemies he's with aren't too ridiculous. I need to get through his shield as soon as possible. That is a very, very big deal, though it will take a fair amount of time. No, I didn't. Yes, okay, I actually did manage it. That was awesome. So we'll get rid of him, which will force our boss here into reviving him. And then we're kind of just going to hammer away, and we actually do manage to break him down there. So that is very, very useful. We need to roll there because the rifle shots are on the way. So we did manage to get it. And that's actually one of the complaints I do have. It's very hard to see on some people if you're making any actual progress into killing them, which always kind of sucks. So now we can claim his card as our victory trophy that we have slain him. Got our helmet on, our medium armor, looking all Superfly. And here we go. We have slain the Jack of Skulls.
Well done. Well done indeed. But you have roused the dead in their dusty tombs, and even I cannot say what will come of it.
So there
now
we go.
Our wager becomes more interesting.
So,
will the tools you've earned suffice to address the challenges I pose? That is the question.
yes, it is. Because obviously I could repeat the journey to kill the Skeleton King again in order to get more rewards, but I did get a lot. So these are basically card packs. So, for helping the captain of the guards, I gain a mace and a mace. Shockingly, he's very fond of his maces there. This one is for exploring the maze of traps. We receive the scavenger's cap, which is kind of nice. It helps you get bonus loot. If we get this for diving into the river, we got the Ring of Survival. That is very neat. So you see how it works. You do get really tangibly rewarded at the end. For the Dead King's Hall, we actually just got a straight up treasure chest card, which is wonderful, and you'll see why in a moment. So for defeating the boss, we get an actual tangible card pack. We get the Crucible, the Desert Storm, the Helpful Priest, the Queen of Dust, which is our next major challenge, and in the final one, we get Helm of Reflection, which is awesome, Frostfang, the weapon, Angel's Wing, and Consuming Shame. Very, very good there. So now he gets his card trick on again, and that's it. You've played a round of the game, and as you can see, it's very easy to jump in, play through a level, defeat a boss, and then just leave for a while and come back and then repeat it. You see, it's very, very good in that regard. So, what I do want to show you is now we unlock the Queen of Dust. We want to select her as our opponent.
She did not collapse when the Empire did. No, she took up arms, organized her people, and vowed that in a country where death had gathered, she would be the one dealing it.
So, she actually sounds kind of badass, actually. So you choose the deck that you want to take on this adventure. So now that you've seen everything, you'll understand more how it goes. So what I want to do, I've got all this good equipment in my deck that I can draw from, and actually it's all pretty good. The weapons that I do have are really nice, but I don't have that many weapons. So what I'm going to do is get rid of the healing cap, and actually put in a mace so I have a higher chance of actually acquiring a weapon. So I'm taking those 12 with me, but obviously it's still random chance what I draw and when I draw it. The same with these cards, which form the adventure steps you were going on. So I have a Desert Storm here, which has a reward attached to it. So if I decide, you know what, I want to get rid of Ambush. I don't want to be able to get ambushed in this adventure, but I'm totally cool with accidentally wandering into a Desert Storm. You make that your deck, you're cool with that, you accept, and you are good to go, and that's what you're going to use on your adventure against the Queen of Dust, and then, thusly,
now we play for the cup.
The cycle repeats itself. Now, of course, he likes to put in his own cards just to spice things up that aren't always too great. But there you go, guys. You've seen exactly how the game works. It's very simple, but a very cool blend of a lot of different things, and it's incredibly satisfying. And I think it's just phenomenal to just have a quick round of cards against this mysterious man. It's wonderful. So for now, my name's been Rage.
Blessings and curses.
This
Choose your steps carefully.
has been Hand of Fate, and I heartily recommend it. The developers really seem to be on it with this one in both attitude and the actual game that they've made. Remember to like if you enjoyed this, it really does help and I do appreciate it, and subscribe for more. Goodbye. You've been